Welcome, everyone. Welcome back for another Born to Lead docu-series interview. I am super excited. My next guest, you got a quick sneak peek of her. I'm going to bring her on in just a moment after I just talk to you a little bit and, of course, tell you who I'm going to be bringing on. So, I am Dr. Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. I am the host of A Queen's Roundtable show and podcast, engineer, producer, everything else, right? I have to operate all the controls. So every now and again, I might kind of, um, be a little slow or kind of fudge it up a little bit, right? Because I'm trying to wear all of these different hats. But I am so glad that you are back for another episode of the Born to Lead docuseries. So let me just kind of give you a bit of a backdrop on that. Well, actually, before I get into that, the A Queens Roundtable show airs every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I typically bring on different guests and they share their own, personal story. They share encouragement, inspiration, and as always, either personal, professional, or leadership development tips and tools to help you scale your business. The Born to Lead docuseries actually stemmed from the Born to Lead Awakening the Leader Within anthology project, which was actually launched in September of 2022. And it was wonderful. Myself and five, oh God, I can't believe I can't remember, 6 or 7 other ladies actually got together and we all put together this anthology centered around innate leadership abilities in women. And we got such an awesome response from it. So out of that came the Born to Lead docuseries. So let me say this as well. If you were interested in being interviewed for this docuseries, you have different tips and tools to share on leadership, then I would definitely like for us to have a conversation and hopefully you can be a guest on the show. So without further ado, the individual that I'm going to bring on today, and I'm sitting here kind of debating on whether I was going to try her last name. I hate to butcher somebody's name, but I think I'm going to try it. And she'll correct me when I bring her on, I'm sure. But today's guest is Rhonda Dibachi, I believe is how you pronounce her last name. She is an American business executive, entrepreneur, and author. She is the co-founder and chief executive officer of HeyScottie, an artificial intelligence powered platform delivering superior sourcing options for manufacturing, finishing services. She was also the co-founder and CEO of Noribachi, I believe is how it's pronounced, a custom LED lighting manufacturer specializing in industrial and commercial applications. I'm sure we've all heard of LED, right? Prior to Noribachi, she co-founded Niku Corporation, a Silicon Valley based infrastructure productivity software provider, with her husband. And I'll just say with her husband. After going public in 2000, Niku was acquired by California in 2005. Previously, she worked for Oracle and has been recognized as a leading female entrepreneur. In her early career, she served as a nuclear engineer for GE and is an author. Oh my God, just my words tonight, they don't want to come out. Maybe I should take a quick sip of water. It's been a long day. So let me say that again. In an earlier career, she served as a nuclear engineer for GE and as an author, U.S. patent holder, and has served a board trustee and advisor for a number of educational, nonprofit, government, and educational organizations. So as you can tell, and as you can see, I'm sure by yourself, I'm super excited. I'm going to bring her in. Okay, Rhonda, I got a little tongue tied there for a minute with your bio. I don't know why. I don't, but anyway, here we are. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm super excited to have you here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And she's in California. She's in
Mhm.
sunny, bright California. So she's some miles away from me. I'm in
Yes.
Michigan. I'm based out of Michigan. So, glad you took the time to join us here for the Born to Lead docuseries. So I'm going to go ahead and give you the mic. Go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about you and your business and, some of your previous history.
Sure, sure. So first of all, thank you so much, Doctor. Love your show, love your energy, love everything about what you've done, particularly the anthology. I thought that was a really, really cool idea. And I love the fact that it's living, which is very extremely cool. So anyway, I love that. Anyway, so thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me here. You did well. It's Dibachi. You did great. So it's Rhonda Dibachi, yeah. And I'm the CEO of HeyScottie, and it's a company that is in the manufacturing space. What we're trying to do now is we're trying to take the it's a manufacturing marketplace. So what it is, it's if somebody wants to get metal finishing done, like if you want to get some anodizing or powder coating or any kind of plating done, we'll come to HeyScottie, and I, with my AI pricing engine, will be able to give you an instant price. You will be able to use that price and talk to me about exactly what you want. You can place the order online if you wish, and you will get plated. The revolutionary thing about HeyScottie is it is bringing light into kind of a dark corner of the manufacturing sector. I I have a background that that I have a background in both tech as well as software. Um, like you said, doctor, I have a nuclear engineering degree. And as soon as I went into the workforce, I loved it, but the problem was people weren't building nuclear power plants anymore. So I changed to software. I was doing some software in the nuclear power plant, but I changed to software, and I did software and I did manufacturing in my life, in my past lives, and and what I have what I've found is that manufacturing is really hard and tech is kind of easy. Um, and and there's all kinds of reasons for that, and I'd love to go into detail about that. But manufacturing is so incredibly important to the United States, to any country that that wants a growing economy. A stable and growing economy can only be achieved, only be enjoyed if you maintain the means of production of your critical things that you need, right? So our infrastructure, cars, PCs, all those kinds of things. It's very, very good to be in manufacturing and doing these things and making these things. But the problem is it's very hard to make money. It's hard to make money in manufacturing. I've also so I've done manufacturing. I've also done tech, and I've found, like you said, I took a company public, and that company, that was a tech company that attracted capital, like my previous manufacturing companies couldn't attract capital. So I've founded HeyScottie to try and bring to the market some of the solutions for how to solve this problem. The problem is that manufacturing is undervalued. And so HeyScottie is all about bringing the kinds of magic that you get in tech companies: recurring revenue, instant transactions, online information, accessible anywhere, all of those kinds of things I'm trying to bring to the manufacturing world. And it's a small step, I know, but but it is something that I think is extremely important. So I kind of touched on a bunch of different aspects of my background. If you will allow me to, I'd like to talk specifically about what I've done in manufacturing, what I've done in tech, um, and contrast them with some dollar amounts. So yeah, this is. I hope you'll find this interesting. So, like I said, I have a manufacturing background. One of the companies that I co-founded a company called Niku, Niku, and that went public on Nasdaq. And doctor, can you imagine how soon after we founded the company did we go public? Do you think it was a long time? Do you think we had built up the company? Do you think it was a short time? In general, how long do you think it takes to a company to go public after founding? Hazard a guess. Doesn't matter. Hazard a
I don't
guess.
know, just a guess, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 years?
2, 3 years is pretty short.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, and we achieved it. We went public less than 2 years before funding, after founding, which was unheard of, and it was unheard of because, well, we had a small amount of revenue, but the markets were eager for what we were doing at that point in time. The markets were excited about the internet. We were an internet company. The markets were excited about how software can be brought to businesses to make them do better things quickly, like a collaborative software solution, and we did that. So Niku went public in a very, very short period of time, and we achieved a valuation in the billions of dollars. The company did. So really, look it up. It's on. It's on. This is what happened, and so contrast that. So that was a success, right? That was a good success. Niku went on to, unfortunately, experience some of the dot bomb as opposed to the dot com, and we didn't experience a reduction in valuation, but we came out of that, and the company Computer Associates was the one that acquired Niku in 2006 for $350 million. So these are the numbers that I want you to remember in tech. Okay, I want you to remember the billion-dollar valuation. I want you to talk about remember the 2-year time period from starting to going public, and then I want you to remember the $350 million price tag that Niku enjoyed when it was acquired by CA. Okay, so got that? Okay, so so this was in 2000. So we went public in 2000. The next company my husband and I started, we started in 2008, 9, 10. It was a slow start. So let's pretend it was 2010. When we exited the company, which was in 2018, what we were talking about valuations not anywhere near those valuations. We were talking about valuations of less than $50 million. And the reason that we were talking about those valuations after having built up a company for almost 10 years, and this was a successful company. Our revenues were in the $40 million range per year. So it was a fairly good sized company. It wasn't huge, but after 10 years, it's like, okay, that's not so bad. But even with that kind of steady growth, even with that kind of good product history, and people loved our products. They were, like you said, LEDs, and we did really large LEDs. We would light up parking garages and parking lots and those kinds of things. And they were big, they were huge. It was fun to do, and it was a wonderful experience. And we did it in LA, and I was very proud of running a manufacturing company in the United States. We did not offshore. Well, we didn't offshore a lot. We offshored a bunch of stuff, but not the SMT line, not the metal shop. And we did the final assembly and test, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, so you're talking about on the one hand, the tech companies. I'm talking about $1 billion, you're talking about 350 million. And then you're talking about manufacturing. And I can tell you, I worked so hard at that Noribachi company. I worked 10 times how hard I worked at Niku. I mean, it was really hard. And at the very end of the day, after all that hard work, and not just by me, all of my team, we had over 175 people at the height. You know, it was really hard to make money. You know, it was hard to pay people more than minimum wage when they worked on the floor because it was just not economical. And why was that? Because the markets do not value manufacturing companies. That's why. So the problem is that the markets, if you take a look at this, there's just no money in manufacturing, but it is so important. It is so important in the United States. So the things that I think that we need to do is we need to take a look at the differences in these sectors. Duh, right? You know, what is it that makes tech so appealing to investors? And if you attract investors, you attract money, and money can do things, right? I mean, I'm not saying that you need to pander to, you know, the public markets, but you need to make, you know, a banker interested in you, right? Because it's so important. Leverage in business is so important. You really can't build, you cannot grow a business unless you leverage part of it. You just have to. So anyway, so that's what I'd like you to take away. Why this is kind of what's driving me now. You know, why is it that manufacturing is so undervalued compared to the tech industry? Well, okay. So this is what I think.
Okay.
It's recurring revenue. So that's number one. That's kind of easy. It's like if I write a software program, it takes me basically $0 to sell it twice, right? I can sell it once, you know, but the second time I sell it, I'm not incurring any more costs. You know, when you distribute your podcast, doctor, you know, do you have to record it every time someone listens to it? No, of course, right? Okay, so that's one. I mean, okay, so that's a good reason why you would want to invest in a tech company as opposed to not invest in a manufacturing company. The other kind of revenue is that they have recurring revenue. So they have a built-in customer base that they can basically tax over and over again. They charge over and over again. And they usually do this in software as a service model. So they don't say, hey, buy my software for $1 gazillion. They say, use my software for $50 a month. And it's a lot more effective, lots more economical. So that's the second reason that people like the tech companies as opposed to the manufacturing companies. Other reasons have to do with just the fact that you're making a physical product. So you have cost of goods sold. So every product is something, and you had to buy that thing in order to actually sell it, right? So you have cost of goods sold. Okay, well, there goes your gross margin. I'm sorry, gross margin. So there's that kind of a problem. And then there is, because you have these physical products, you have to put them somewhere, right? And then you have to move them, and you're probably adding value to them. So you got tools and stuff like that. So that means you need a business. You need a building. And you need people in that building, and you need machines in that building. And that is all just to make something as silly as a pen, right? You know, but if you want to sell this, if you want to make money from this pen, you need to sell it. And once you sell it, you don't have it anymore. And that's the problem. I mean, that's the problem with manufacturing from an accounting perspective, from a financial valuation perspective. There's other things that have to do with depreciation. Which basically increases instead of writing off an expense. So depreciating, so a table to write off over time versus a table to just write off in the current period. So with depreciation, what you're doing is you're just delaying the costs of running your business in the next couple of years. Basically, you're burdening yourself. Okay, I mean, so this is, I mean, and from a fairness perspective, from an accounting rules perspective, there's certainly reasons to do that. I mean, it makes sense. But what you are doing is you are not able to compete against the technology people, because they're able to take if you were to invest $1 in the technology people, you know, they'd be able to use it more. You know, they'd be able to use it to generate more revenue. And that's the problem that you have. is
Okay.
that if somebody invests $1 for you, you're just not going to be able to generate the amount of revenue
Okay.
that these other guys have. So it's harder. So, okay, so that is the problem. And I think it's a noble problem to try to solve. What do you think? Pretty good, I hope. So the whole thing is, how do you make manufacturing pay? Well, if you try and make it a little more like the tech guys, that makes a lot of sense. So what you try and do is, let's talk about this recurring revenue thing. Well, if that's what you need to do, is you need to make something easy to sell. Okay. So how do you do that? The more you sell something, the easier it gets, because you learn how to do it over and over again. So volume by itself is good. Okay. Even if it doesn't generate in the beginning, it won't generate more sales. But if you do the sales actions more and more and more, you're just eventually going to get better at it, because there's going to be a feedback loop, right? You know, eventually someone's going to say yes, and you're going to figure out what you did differently on that one, and you're going to get better and better at it.
Right.
Manufacturing sales are not known for their speed. There's not a lot of people in manufacturing that can say that they do the quoting quickly. The reason for that is, most manufacturing in the United States, if you're coming to a new relationship, okay, you're trying to find a new vendor for something. Well, you're trying something new. So it's a new product or it's a new service that you need. So that kind of a thing. So now this is the first time you're doing this. If it's not the first time you're doing it, it's definitely the first time by definition of this problem that I've just said, is that this is the first time you're doing it with that particular vendor. You don't know how they're working. You don't know what their pricing is. You don't know what their availability is, blah, 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 blah. But it's a new thing. So this is just new. This is not something like, oh, I want another white sweater. And you go to Amazon and you click the last white sweater that you bought. You know what I mean? So anyway, so it's a new thing. Therefore, you are going to have to, it's a dialogue. It's back and forth. It's like, can you do this? Yeah, I can do this. Do you want it in black? Oh, I forgot. Oh, I didn't realize black, blah, blah, blah. And so they have to go back, and they have to go back, and they've got to talk to their people, and then they have to come back. And then, so it's a back and a forth and a back and a forth. Now, because the person who's the manufacturer who's taking this order does not really understand quite what you need. Let's say, doctor, you're asking me to make this pen for you, okay? And specifically, you want me to make this little ring right here. This guy is, my current vendor is really fallen down, and I need like 50,000 tomorrow. Please help me with this. Okay, so I take a look at this. I say, okay, well, this is the first time I've seen this too. So I don't know how much it's going to cost. So I'm going to go back to my guys, and I'm going to say, okay, so how long it's going to take, and blah, blah, blah. And the more complicated this is, the more complicated my conversations are going to be. And so you have to be very careful about this particular thing, because you don't want to do the wrong thing. Too high a price, obviously, the guy's going to go away. Too low a price, and you're going to lose a lot of money, particularly if this becomes a bestseller. And then, if you're making this for a loss, you're just seeing your money go out the door more quickly, right? That kind of a thing. So anyway, one thing that I think needs to be done is that there needs to be more pricing transparency in manufacturing.
Pricing transparency. Okay.
In manufacturing, yeah. So when you go to Amazon, when you do a standard B2C transaction, what you see is this is going to cost you this much. This helps you immensely, right? If you didn't have that, it would be a very long, drawn out conversation. And that is what a typical manufacturing buy-sell conversation is. And even if both parties at the very end agree to it, many, many times, and this, I speak from personal experience, many, many times after that's all agreed to, said and done, everyone's, signed on the dotted line. You get the part in-house, something goes wrong, you're like, oops, we didn't think about this. And then you have to go back, you have to renegotiate. That's bad form. So anyway, what the problem that I'm trying to solve is, I'm trying to allow people in manufacturing to more transparently bring pricing to the internet. Most manufacturers do not have price lists.
Mm.
And if you're doing manufacturing services, almost none of them have price lists. So you have
Okay.
no idea what this
Mm.
costs. So unless you're kind of in the in crowd,
Mhm.
you're out of luck. And the conversations that you have to have in order to really understand if you're doing the right thing from a purchasing decision, it just takes such a long time. And it takes knowledge that you don't have because you've never done this before.
Right.
So what I'm doing with HeyScottie that helps this price transparency is I am using the lingua franca, if you will, of manufacturing, which is the CAD file. So CAD is short for computer-aided design. And what it is basically it's a three-dimensional rendering of a part. And you can, spin it around and you can turn it different colors and you can add things to it. And that's how parts are built in the United States today. They're built using these very complicated, very, very powerful design tools that are called CAD. They're called CAD files, CAD.
Mm.
So I say, okay, everyone uses these already. Everyone already uses these to communicate. Okay. So obviously you can, I'm not going to, if you and I were going into a business conversation, I would not want the pen that you want me to build. You might not have it, of course. I would need the drawings. Okay. And the drawings are these CAD drawings. Everyone already talks about this. I want the CAD drawings to be the basis of pricing in the United States. I want someone to be able to plap onto the web. Hey, I've got this CAD drawing. Give me a price. Now, there's nothing automatic online. There's a couple. There's a few companies that are doing this right now, and they are large marketplaces. HeyScottie is also a marketplace. They are large marketplaces that do not do the manufacturing themselves, but instead farm out the work to, actually, most of them farm out the work to others. Some of them have captive shops. These companies are leading the way where I think this is going to go. I think not only will those companies have the ability to instantaneously price products based upon their CAD drawings, but everybody else, all the guys that are working for these guys, and all of the guys that are doing all the processes that these guys haven't figured out yet.
Right.
The first, yeah. So this is where I'm going with this. So, HeyScottie is, and this is the last of this, and then I'll take a breath. So HeyScottie is doing this for a part of the manufacturing sector that doesn't have this at all. It's finishing. It's metal finishing. This it's hard. Metal finishing is hard. It's a chemical process. It's not a mechanical process. You do things in baths. There's a lot of, wastewater. There's huge regulatory implications for running a plating business. They have to be on their toes with both federal and state, as well as local licensing boards. I mean, it's a hard job. It is, however, important. You can't make a metal piece without plating it. You can't use it. I mean, sorry, you can make a metal plate, but you cannot use a metal piece without plating it. You have to. So there's a finite number of processes, and they're hard to do, and more importantly, they're local. Because if you're going to have a pen and I make the metal, but then I have to go somewhere to get it anodized, because I'm not going to do that. The licensing requirements are ridiculous. I don't want to get into that business. That's a mess, right? So if I got to send it, I don't typically look beyond my 3 or 4 block radius to do this. Well, HeyScottie is trying to fix that. HeyScottie is trying to allow you, Mr. Manufacturer or Ms. Manufacturer, to be able to do that kind of plating from wherever you are to wherever it needs to be, and based upon a CAD drawing. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm trying to do. And I think you make things a little faster, you make things better. And that's what HeyScottie is all about.
Okay. Wow. Okay. Very good. Very, very informative, and, really helps to kind of see the bigger picture, or, the direction that you're going in. So we're like a little more than midway through. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, Rhonda, I have a couple of specific questions for you. All right. So
Great.
everyone, just give us just a second. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and we will be right back after this break.
Realizing Your Potential LLC presents Born to Lead, Awakening the Leader Within. This anthology brings together women that have overcome hardships in their lives and have managed not only to survive, but thrive. Their stories focus on resiliency, adaptability, and strength, acknowledging the innate strength and leadership qualities in African American women.
All right. We're back. We're back, everybody. All right, Rhonda. So this is my first question for you. As a woman CEO and serial entrepreneur, can you share how you feel the rise of AI has impacted leadership opportunities for women?
That's a great question. That's a really interesting question, isn't it? So, so from a so, from the perspective, so I'm a woman. I'm in tech, so and my product's based upon AI. And I have to tell you, I think it will profoundly impact the way women approach their leadership positions. I think that so this is going to sound so silly and corny, but I think AI is truly unbelievable. I think that the amount of progress that we have made, and I was part of the input team for what was called expert systems. This was back in the 80s. This is a long time ago. And this was in my nuclear engineering days. There was problems, very specific problems to loading a nuclear reactor, of all things. Turns out it's hard to do it right. So they had these people who were theoretically experts at it, and so they tried to get them to, come up with a machine. And the idea back then was more of a call and response kind of a thing, so that if you just almost record all of the potential answers to the question, then, no matter what the question, you have an answer for. It was kind of like that. It was kind of fairly deterministic. And the AI part of it was all about how to identify which particular answer this particular question would invoke. So that was interesting back then. There was a lot of hype also back then in the 80s. The hype now is real, I think. I think it's transformative, accepting only the internet, which was a necessary but not sufficient condition to create AI as we see it now, this generative AI stuff. Is really unbelievable. I cannot. Am I sounding like I'm tongue-tied, that I am so excited that I can't actually get an entire sentence out? Okay, yeah, sorry, I'm sorry, but I am excited about this. And the reason I'm excited about this is that it is making me a better person. It is making me a more confident person. It is making me a more effective person. It is making me a more productive person. I have a joyous attitude towards everything that I can do going forward because of AI, because I now have my new best friend who is going to tell me everything. Frankly, that is what this is. That is what this is. It is as good as they say. Ladies and gentlemen, I really am terribly excited about this. And this is just the beginning of this.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure you've used AI.
I have.
Mhm.
I've used it, well, just off the top of my head. I've used it for like creating posts, like for Facebook and LinkedIn. Like I may have, my own wording, my content, but maybe I want to be able to kind of say something pretty much the same thing, but just in a different way, or maybe bring it about, different perspective. So I've used it for that.
Oh, yeah, and I hope you've thought the results were astonishing.
Absolutely. I was like,
Mhm.
woo.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
Yeah.
very, very much so.
So so why does this help women leaders? Well, first of all, women are a minority in the leadership area, and you are going to be able to learn so much more, just period. So that's number one. Number two, AI levels the playing field because you have an ungendered view. AI doesn't know who you are.
Hmm, okay.
AI doesn't know who you are. They are, I walk into a room, people say right away, that's a woman. I mean, that just is. I mean, that's just, I mean, I can't hide it, you know? It is, and so whatever biases those guys have, conscious or unconscious, they are triggered immediately, and there's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I can do about it, right? AI doesn't care. So this is so first of all, the internet searches are biased because how do they, I mean, they know who you are. They know who I am. They know who I am because of my shopping habits. And so they will give me a wrong answer if it
Okay.
makes somebody else money.
Let me say that again now. You said they know who you are. You said they'll give you,
The wrong answer if it
okay.
makes somebody else money. For example, you know,
Hmm,
give me a cashmere sweater. Okay. There is no difference between the cashmere sweater I want to buy in the
mhm.
women's section of the local Macy's and the one in the men's section of the local Macy's. The only difference is the price
Okay.
because women spend more on cashmere sweaters than men do. Okay. So that's all there is to it. If I type in, give me a black cashmere sweater, I'm going to get the most expensive one. They will lie to me. They will not show me results that they do not want me to see. And by they, I mean whoever's site I'm seeing. And if
Hmm,
I'm not even on a site, I am on Google's site.
hmm. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay.
so think about that. Think about AI as your new gender neutral best friend who has your your best interests at heart. Now, let me get a little geeky. Let me get a little techie. If you are in IT, if you are in technology, AI codes for you.
Okay.
So things that you previously had to hire somebody to do, you can
Mhm.
now do that yourself. So for certain
Okay.
women,
Like
oh yeah,
what? Like give me an example because it's not registering in my brain just yet. Like
let's
what? As far as
see.
a business owner.
I would like to get an automatic email every time somebody goes to my website.
Okay.
Okay. I would
Right.
like an email and a entry on my to-do list every time somebody clicks on this link in my website.
Okay.
Every time somebody downloads a case study, I want this email, I want a to-do list, and I want to give an action to my sales guy in my CRM.
Okay.
Those are examples. Can you
Mm.
can you understand that now?
So that means that all I have to do is I have to tell AI, excuse me, that that's what I want. Hmm.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay. Okay.
There's probably stuff that you'd like to do on your podcast that your guy does. I don't know, it's usually a guy that your guy does. Is that correct? I mean, you say you wear all the hats. I'm not sure if you wear the IT hats. Do you do your own hosting?
I do.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So check it out. Okay, so the other thing that it can do is
Hmm.
it can tell you how to use the software, whatever software it is that you're
Okay.
already using better because it has all the user manuals in it.
Okay. Now that would, ooh, that would, you know what? That was something that I'm gonna use it for as soon as we finish.
Yes, yes,
Okay, so
yes.
this is all kind of new for me. I'm just really kind of getting into this, and I know there's some entrepreneurs out there that have kind of way more advanced, and some that may be like,
Sure.
what? Wait a
Oh,
minute, hang on, wait a minute, I gotta, So for the AI piece, like when I'm thinking of it strictly in a sense of I wanted to help me word something, right? So
mhm.
it's but so much more.
Yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
so let's just say as an entrepreneur, if you well, I know you can definitely use it to, write your emails, like do your follow-up emails, to email your list.
Mhm.
But now how would you okay, let's just say how would you get it to let's say posting, right?
Okay.
Like maybe
Yeah.
if I didn't want to I don't want to manually post. I don't know. I guess I want you to give an example of, or another example of how someone as an entrepreneur can take it and utilize it to kind of free themselves up and for more, I guess, accuracy in what the results that they're trying to achieve.
Fabulous, fabulous example, fabulous question. Okay, yeah, I wanna post, and I wanna post consistently,
Right.
and I want it to be good, okay, and I don't want it to be as much of a drag as it is right now.
Okay.
I mean, because sometimes when I post, I am posting and I am, like, making points, and I'm really I mean, I'm on it, and it's really good, and I think it's a really good post, and I'm very excited about it. But then there are other times when I'm just not feeling it, you know? And it's like and I'll read an interesting article, and I'm like, "Oh, I should probably post this," kind of a thing, but it's not I mean, so I need some help, right? Okay. Also, consistency is a very big deal, obviously, from a posting perspective. Okay, so all you do is you go to do you use ChatGPT?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay,
I have
so
both.
go into ChatGPT and say, "Hi, ChatGPT," and I always use please and thank you. I don't know, am I the only one? So please help me come up with an automatic posting schedule, comma, something automated, comma, something I don't have to do manually every time, comma. I use this as my editor,
Mhm.
and I have access to this and this and this. Do you ever use a CRM?
No, I don't even know what's I've
Okay, so
been seeing these commercials, but I don't even know what the CRM is.
okay, great. So you have like how do you keep track of your posts right now? Do you have them like in a Word document? Do you have them
Actually,
around
you
in
know
your
what? I just have them like I have like little passages saved that I go and I just like copy and paste it.
Oh, okay, okay. So then this is the continuation of what you say to Chat
Okay.
GPT. I usually have a lot of little things that I posted or
Mhm.
whatever you said. Please, can you tell me how to do this? Click, and that is all you need to do, and that starts a conversation.
Mm.
And and then ChatGPT will say something very vague in the beginning. Oh, you should probably get an automatic something or other,
Mhm.
and then you'll be able to queue up your posts, freeing you from any administrative tasks. And if you do that, you might also get a reporting package that will give you a weekly reporting at the end of the week and say this post did better than this post.
Okay.
But sorry, ChatGPT will not say, this is the kind of thing that you should buy, or this is the kind of
Well,
thing that you should license, or this
okay.
is the kind of thing, this is the kind of feature that you should use in Google or whatever. I mean,
Okay.
you're using an email application, right? So
Mhm.
there's other applications that you're using.
Right.
Tell ChatGPT what those are, and ChatGPT will tell you how they can be used to do this thing.
Mm. Okay.
If you
Okay.
so
So
and
they'll
then
tell me. Okay.
yeah, mhm, and there's other, uh, um, uh, AI platforms that are specific to business intelligence.
Okay.
Um, yeah, the one that I use is Agent GPT.
Mm.
That's a good
Agent
one.
GPT.
Agent GPT, yeah.
Okay.
It's got a very scary interface, but it is powerful.
Hmm.
And it does project creation very, very well. So
Okay.
kind of thing that you're asking about, this automated posting. I think I'm putting words into your mouth. I'm sorry. Let's just use this as an example. Let's say you want to do an automated posting engine. Okay. This agent GPT and others like it. There's others that can do this. We'll start out with, okay, first you need to do this and this and this and this. They'll give you the actual steps
Okay.
and they will try and execute those. So for
Okay.
example, if the first one is search Google for X, they will actually search Google for X. So they actually are starting to do work. Yeah. So anyway, I think you get the idea. If you have a business problem, it is nothing more. There's nothing easier than to just type the business problem into ChatGPT. That's what I'm saying.
I didn't realize it was so extensive.
It's so weird because
Okay.
you gotta get comfortable asking it anything. I mean,
So
really.
you know what that reminds me of? Like, what is this, Siri? When people are like, hey Siri, what's the weather gonna be like Wednesday, February the 28th at 4 p.m. in Michigan?
Right. Yeah. I know.
I'm gonna experiment with this one when later on this evening.
And the more it is, like I said, it is a non-gendered partner. It's your best friend. Ask it what to make for dinner. I mean, seriously. I mean, really, it will make your life enjoyable in ways that you've never.
That's one of the question is, how has it impacted leadership opportunities for women? Now we don't have to, I don't have to spend the time doing meal planning. Get
There
AI
you
to
go.
cook for me. Therefore, I can take advantage of some of those other opportunities. I'm gonna use that. Wow. So you know what? And this always happens whenever me and my guests we kind of get going and it kind of takes on a life of its own. And I had a couple other questions I wanted to ask, but I want to make sure that we stay on track. And let me just look and see which one, because we have time for one more.
Okay.
How about I'll ask this one. As a serial entrepreneur who has launched and sold companies and mentored startups, is there any advice that you would share with tomorrow's leaders and entrepreneurs? And has your advice changed from what you would have offered 10 or even 5 years ago? I know you touched on some of it.
I'll try and be brief.
Well, I would say we got about maybe like 5 minutes.
Okay. All right. So the advice that I give to entrepreneurs is that you have to be good at two things to be a successful entrepreneur. One is whatever the thing is that you're doing. So if you're launching a new law firm, you need to be good at law. If you're doing a new dance troupe, you need to be a dance. You need to understand that, right? I mean, if you're doing some kind of software, you need to understand software. I mean, you just have to, okay? You can't outsource that knowledge. And if that's the knowledge that's necessary for your company to be fantastic, then you need to have that knowledge. That is number one. Absolutely. You can't outsource that. So there's a lot of kind of tech CEOs that are not tech guys. They came in from the outside. I think that, there are successes there, but I think it's rare. If you want to try starting a startup with your hand tied behind your back, you can try that. Okay. But I mean, and there's really no excuse not to. I mean, if, it's like, come on, if you really are passionate about this, get the law degree. I don't know, get the coding experience, that kind of a thing. You can do it. It's not, I mean, other people have, obviously. So you have to be good at that. That's number one. The second one is sales. That's the other thing you can't outsource. No, I mean, you can try, just be the tech guy in the back. And it's like, okay, yeah, no, I'll only do coding. you're not going to be a successful entrepreneur. You'll be a successful product guy. Sure. That's good. You'll be known for something different, which is fine, but you have to be good at sales and you can't shirk it. You can't. And I have done this because I hate sales. I just hate
I
sales.
do too.
Everybody does. And then I don't know. I don't know who does. Anyway, some people are good at it, and that I guess brings them joy. But it is, and some people, they feel it. In general, I think I'm a passionate person. I'm passionate about what I do, and that's how it comes out. And then, there are things that I just don't do. Like I don't do cold calls, that kind of a thing, except when I have to, which is like all the time. It's like, unfortunately, you have to do it. You just have to do it. Okay. It's not going to get done by itself. And this is hard, and so no, you've got to do those things. Be quiet, sit down, make the phone call. What are you talking about? It's just, you have to do it. You have to put yourself out there. So anyway, so that's the advice that I would give people. And that's the advice. So if you're not good at either one of those things, try something different or level up. It's up to you.
Yeah, level up. Well, I'm gonna level up. I'm choosing the second option. I'm gonna level up because sales is an area that I struggle in. So I need a little work in that area. And I was just gonna say, can AI help me with that?
Yes.
They can give me tools and techniques, right? Okay.
Yeah. The next time you're like, hey, Chat GPT, please help me. I have to call this guy and I don't want to. Hit send. It will help. It will definitely help. Yeah.
I'm gonna try it. So we're at the end of our interview. So I want to give you an opportunity, Rhonda, in about a minute or less, if you could please let them know how they can get in touch with you. If they want to reach out to you and maybe collaborate in some form or fashion, how can they do that?
Certainly. Please visit HeyScottie on the web. It's HeyScottie.com. That's HeyScottie. Or you can find me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Rhonda Dibachi there. So.
Oh, that's pretty easy. Right. And it was easy to find you on LinkedIn. It was.
Okay, great.
So this has been a pleasure. And Rhonda, I know at some point we'll connect again to collaborate, hopefully on some other projects. But thank you so much for being a part of the Born to Lead docu-series. It's been fun. It's been fun and informative. And thanks again.
I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care, Rhonda. I'll talk to you again soon.
Okay, thanks. Okay, bye.
Wow. Wasn't that awesome? That was so informative. I am really going to try some of those things that she actually suggested as far as the AI. So again, this concludes this particular interview for the Born to Lead docuseries. Please check out the other Born to Lead docuseries interviews. They are all awesome. It is entrepreneurs from all walks of life sharing all different types of tips, tools to help you level up in terms of your leadership skills, personal, professional development, right? That's what it's all about. We want to level up. We want to be a better version of ourselves tomorrow than we are today, all leading us down to achieve truly what we desire as well as deserve. I am your host, Dr. Jacqueline Kabah Harrison. Make sure you subscribe to the A Queens Roundtable channel. That way you will get alerts when we are going live. Until next time, take care.